Hi there, my name is Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today it's going to be another fix-it video, another video where I bought something faulty off eBay and I'm going to do my best to fix it. Now, as I say in all these videos, take it just as entertainment, don't actually take it as a how-to video, because a lot of the time I will be doing things incorrectly. Alright, I've just got to make sure I don't give away addresses and stuff because there's an address in here, so just bear with me a minute. This box has obviously been recycled. Here we go. Ta-da! Right, as you can tell, it is a PlayStation 4. Now, this was bought from eBay and it was from a business seller. But when the packaging came, I didn't show you all the packaging because it's got a load of logos and stuff on it. But it looks like they're proud to put their name on it. So I think that this is going to be a genuine one. Now, what they said from memory was that it's got a faulty HDMI port at the back. And they've put their own little warranty sticker on it there. So obviously, dearie me, it's dirty. Right, okay, so what... Right, okay, yeah, obviously they've already looked inside it and they've said that it's a HDMI port. I'm not quite sure why they didn't try to repair it themselves, but I'm hoping that it will be just a HDMI port and not a load of other things. Right, let me show you what I paid for this. Okay, so it was on a buy it now or a best offer, and I offered £54 and they accepted it. So let me just show you the listing. Right, so as you can see there, originally it was up for £60, so I paid £54 plus £6, so I paid £60 for this. So if it is just a HDMI port and I can get it working, then it will be quite a cheap PlayStation 4. Now remember, it doesn't come with the lead, but you can buy them quite cheaply, and also it doesn't come with the controllers, but the controllers are expensive. Right, so it says here, faulty PS4, 500GB console only, fault is faulty HDMI, no picture. Cylinders faulty, parts to repair, unboxed, no controllers or cables, hard drive included. So it is completely, at this moment, as described. And I think it is actually in okay condition. There's a lot of, well actually I say that, there's loads of dirt up here if you have a look in here. Obviously it's come from a dirty environment, but that's not a problem, we can clean that out. There's not that many scratches on it. It doesn't look too bad. I think it will all clean up. I think it will all clean up okay. Yeah, and the hard drive's definitely in here, so that's a good sign. Yeah, 500GB. Right, first things first, let's put it on the TV and actually verify that there is no picture. Let's make sure that it's turning on. Okay, so I'm ready to turn it on now. Now, I just had a look at the ports at the back there when I was plugging in the power cable and the HDMI, and I've never seen so much dirt. I'm wondering whether it's just going to be a dirty port, because the camera port and stuff and the Ethernet port are absolutely disgusting. Alright, let's turn this on and see what it does. Okay, that's good, it's turning on. Bits of the tape up here as well. Ah, I had this problem before. I had this problem before on the PlayStation 4 from hell, the one with numerous faults. And that was the chip. That was the little HDMI chip and not the port itself. Yeah. Right, okay. It went off there, didn't it? Right, okay, let's see if the controller's going to sync up. Yeah? Well, actually, I suppose it won't sync up until it actually turn it on. Oh, there you go, look. It's gone blank now when I did that. Yeah, first impressions, I'm not so sure that this is going to be... Oh, it just turned itself off there. Maybe when I hit the button I press reset or something. Right, okay, not 100% sure what's happening because it's kind of pulsing blue. Sounds like the hard drive's kicking in and kicking out. But either way, we haven't got a picture to the TV, so we're going to have to sort that out to begin with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it apart and just have a look around. I've got a little HDMI replacement plug that's got screw terminals on it. I can plug that in the back just to see if there's continuity between the the actual HDMI port itself and the pins on the inside, and that will give me an idea whether the actual port is faulty or whether maybe it might be the HDMI chip, or it could be something more serious before the chip, couldn't it? Right, okay, let's turn this off. I'm just going to try it in safe boot mode. I think when you hold down the power button and keep it held. No, it's still coming up with that. Right, let's get this thing apart. I'm just going to, when I turn it off, I just want to show you the ports around the back, show you how dirty they are. Right, look at these. Right, have a look at the Ethernet port there, but have a look at the camera port and the Ethernet port. They're absolutely disgusting. So I've got a feeling this thing's going to be full of dust on the inside. So let's take this up onto the mat and then take it apart and see if we can find out anything. Right, so let's get this thing apart and see what it's like on the inside. Wow, look at the dust in that. Woo! Amazing amount of dust. I'm amazed they managed to actually take it apart to test it and still keep this amount of dust in it. Look at this top corner here. Look at that. Look at that there. Right, I think I'm going to put some gloves on. Right, everything is in its place. I know it's really dirty, but this is brilliant because it just looks like everything is where it should be. Ah, right, okay, now this is getting interesting. If you have a look closely here, this looks like it's been worked on. Look, can you see that there's burn marks? You see that this bit here, it looks like it's burnt. This is the Ethernet port. So I think it's been heated up around this area here. I wonder whether they tried to do a reflow on this chip. See, there's a chip hidden underneath here. But it doesn't look like it's been unsoldered, or if it has, it's been put on very well again. Right, here we go. I've got to the board at long last. Right. Absolutely filthy. Right, I am going to clean this up because I don't really want to work with all this mess on it. So I'm going to get a duster and stuff and give it a good clean. Now, you're not supposed to hoover electronics. I'm not going to hoover this, but I am going to hoover everything else around here. close look at this HDMI port now and see if I can see what's wrong with it. It doesn't look, it looks crooked. It kind of looks like it's pointing upwards. Let me get the macro feature on and get right into this. Okay, so this is it zoomed right in. It does seem to be a little bit stained, doesn't it? But, I mean, there doesn't seem to be big blobs of solder anywhere. Let's see if anything's moving. Well, I think the pins look okay. I need to clean them. I can do that with a bit of IPA. Let's have a look inside the actual. Actually, let's have a look on the other side and then have a look on the inside. Right, so it's here. It does look a little bit burnt around here, doesn't it? Maybe not though. Maybe that's from the factory. Definitely looks like it's been heated up though. I bet they try to maybe heat this up through the shield. Right, let's have a look in the actual port itself. Well, I don't know about you, but I think that looks okay. That looks alright, doesn't it? Yeah, I think that looks fine. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some IPA out and I'm going to clean this up. And then I'm going to use that little HDMI plug that I told you about just to check for continuity between the edge here and the pins on the back. Let's give it a good clean. Right, okay, I've got continuity on every single pin here. Now, I'm not saying they're not shorting out or anything like that, but it's definitely continuity. You can see if I go to pin 2 and move to pin 2, I've got it. Pin 3, move to pin 3. Yep. So this little thing here is really handy to test out. Obviously it's not testing, for example, pin 1 and pin 10 could be shorted together, and maybe they shouldn't be. But there's definitely continuity between here and the pins. That says to me that this port here is, I don't think that port is faulty. Do you know what I'm going to do now? Just because it was so dirty, I think I am going to take it, put it back together and just try it one more time, just to make sure that it's still not working, just in case it was some sort of like dirt or grime or something like that. And then if it's still not working, which I highly think it still won't be working, then what I'll do is I will then take off this shield in here on this side, and I'm going to have a look at this chip, see what's going on underneath here. So next time you see this now, it will be back together. Okay, so we've got it all plugged back in now. Let's see what happens. Wow, right, okay, I obviously haven't put something back in correctly because it just shut off again straight away. Right, let's unplug it and see what I've done wrong. Oh, I didn't put these on. Could that be it? Because of the... I didn't think it would cut off that quick though. Let me put those on, just because obviously if there's no pressure on the main chip, then maybe it will overheat very quick. Just going to see if I can turn it on by just touching that instead of having to click that cover on and off all the time. Let's see now. Yeah, you can. Yeah, the fan's definitely working. Now it's coming up with that again. And also the fan's working really hard. It's going to shut itself off again in a minute. Listen to that. Wow, red light overheating. I really don't know why it's overheating so quickly. Maybe... Well, anyway, look, it came up with that screen again. So what I'll do is, I mean, I haven't put all the screws in it and stuff, but I would have thought it wouldn't have overheated that quickly without the screws. It should have... Maybe I've put something in. Maybe I've put something in wrong or left something out that I'm not sure about. Looking around the place, I can't see anything obvious. Well, okay, anyway, it's still coming up with that screen there, so obviously I need to look at that chip next. So let's get this back on the table. Okay, so I've got the board out again now, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taping off all this area here, because I'm going to use the heat, the hot air, to try to remove this shield here, and I think it's going to take quite a bit of heat. So I'm just going to use Kapton tape just to basically mask off the Ethernet port and the other components and stuff around here, just so hopefully it will minimise the damage to them. A little bit of flux just around the edges where it's joined, just hopefully that will keep the heat in that area to make it easier to come off. Okay, so I've got the heat set to 400 degrees C and the airflow is 6 out of a possible 8. So the little dial goes up to 8, I've got it on 6. I'm using this big one here because I'm hoping it will have more chance of getting the heat into this thing here. I've also got a fan as well to blow away the fumes. Okay, so there's nothing happening. I think it's just drawing all the heat away. So I'm going to go up to the maximum that my air station will do, which is 480, and I'm going all the way up to 8 on the airflow. Okay, it's starting to lift. This side's starting to lift anyway. Excellent. I was about to think it wasn't going to work. Yay! Oh, I'm pleased with that. I didn't think that was going to go at one stage. Right, excellent. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a multimeter. Well, actually, I'm just going to use a bit of IPA just to clean off the mess, and I'm going to use a multimeter, and I'm just going to go across these little things here, just to check for continuity across them, and also I'm just going to test between these and the chip. Okay, so here we are with it all cleaned up now, and it's come off really clean, so hopefully if I can fix this, that shield's going to go back on perfect again, because it's yeah, nothing got deformed or anything. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be testing now these little things here. So from the chip it goes to here, and then from here it goes through the wires over to the HDMI chip. So for example, this bit here will be corresponding, so that little contact will be corresponding to, I think it's this pin here, that one, this pin here. Do you see what I mean? So I'm just going to go across it just to see, because when I had one of these faulty before, some of these were shorting out. Now I haven't got tiny pins for my multimeter yet, so I'm just back to my old rubbish multimeter, just using some copper wire. So first of all I just want to see if these are shorting or not. No. Okay, look, there you go, these are shorted. You see there? So now, let's see where that goes to. That goes to there. Let's also go into there. So this one is a ground, is it? So these are... So, is that a ground there? Hold on, let's see here. Yeah, so there you go. So these two are ground, aren't they? And they shouldn't be, as far as I know. Let's just check the others. No, that's fine. So that's going to be there. Hold on. Right. Now that one should be there, yeah. there, but that's also going to there. Right, so what I'm going to do is, because I can't see any bridges or anything on those pins on the chip, you see they look good, don't they? In fact, that looks like, it looks perfect, so that must be the same one as the manufacturer. I'm going to put some flux around this. I'm going to lift the chip off, and then we're going to see whether these two are still shortened together, because there's a chance that this itself here could be faulty. So if I lift the chip off and this is still shortened together, then that would say to me that this is faulty, or it could be something the other side of here. But if I lift the chip off and then the short goes from here, that says to me the chip itself is faulty. I think, remember, this is just what I think. I'm not saying it's right. Right, so we're going to mask off this again with Kapton tape. Just going to double up on the Kapton tape because it takes me quite a while to get the chips off. I'm just going to put 2 layers on because I don't want any of these little things here to move. Now I think this time, normally I have the small nozzle on my hot air, but I think, you know, I think I'm going to leave the big one on because the big one kind of fits this chip perfectly, doesn't it? So I'm just going to go with the big one and see what happens, see if it makes it easier for myself. So again, I'm using flux. If you're wondering what flux I'm using, because a few people have asked, it's this one here. Amtech. It's supposed to be tacky flux, TF tacky flux, and it's that one here. Now annoyingly, if it is this chip, I haven't got any of these, so I'd have to order them up. And from memory, I think they were about £12 last time, which is quite expensive. Right, I'm going to have the temperature set to 450 and the airflow 6 out of 8. I'm going to put my fan on again. Actually, it's too late now because it's going to be too hot to change, but really I should have left the small one on, because then, the small nozzle, because then I could have just heated up the pins rather than heating up the whole chip. In fact, let's be sensible about this. I'm going to turn it off. I am going to change it. I'm going to let it cool down. I'm going to change it to the smaller nozzle because I might be reusing this chip, mightn't I? It might not be the chip that's faulty. And if I have that on it, it's just going to put all the heat to the middle of the chip. And I want the smaller nozzle so I can get the heat to the edges. Alright, so here we go again. Put some more flux on it. I'm struggling here. Right, I'm putting the temperature up to max, 480. I'm going to put the airflow up to max as well. I'm really finding it hard to get this off. Here we go, starting to come now. There we go. That was an awkward one. Right, hopefully I haven't done any damage. So I'm going to let it cool for a little bit, and I'm going to take off the Captain tape, and then we're going to see if we've still got that short on that part. Quick clean. Okay, so luckily it doesn't look like I've damaged any of the pads, which is good, and also all the components look like they're still in the same place as before. It doesn't look like they've been knocked over or wobbly or flown off in a different direction. Right, so I'm going to now do the same thing again. So it was this, I think it was the third one, wasn't it? Yeah, so it's not shorting out. Let's go across all of them. Fine. 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 Fine, and I just want to try here now. Okay, I'm thinking these must be the earths here and here. Yeah, there we go. So, yeah. Right, okay, so as you can see, they're not shorting out, and you have got continuity between here and here. So that says to me that these are okay. Now let's get this chip back up here now, because it should have been, which orientation was it in? Pretty sure it was in that orientation. So that means then these pins here must be faulty. So let's flip them over. So they're not touching anything else. And it's going to be these pins on this side. Let's see now if I can... Yeah, there you go, look. Nearly every one of them, look at that. Yeah, and there's not that many earths on there, is there? There you go, it's the chip. I'm 99.9% sure that it is the chip, because they're all, it's grounding all of the pins, isn't it? In fact, I might as well prepare this now. I'm going to get the soldering iron on, and I'm going to get the wick and remove the solder from here, because this is unleaded solder, and then let's put a little bit of leaded solder on it. Now what Chris from Gadget UK told me is, when you're trying to clean the wicks, try not to go across, try to go lengthways, because then there's less chance of lifting the pads if you go the longer way off the pad. So in this instance here, that would be kind of like back and forward. Now I know it looks like I am also going left and right, but what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to kind of lift it as I move it along. Not perfect, but I don't want to push my luck on it, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some leaded solder now and try to apply that on there. I'm going to use a bit of flux again. Okay, there we go. I am happy with that, I think. Yeah, there's definitely a bit of solder on it. Some of them have slightly more than others. But I'm hoping then when I get the chip that it will sit in there nicely. Okay, so I was just about to click on the buy it now for this chip, and I remembered on that PS4, the PS4 from hell, I had to buy spare donor boards because I needed to get parts off there. I completely forgot I had 9 spare donor boards. Now I've looked across them and unfortunately lots of these chips are missing from them, so this must be quite a common fault with the PlayStation 4. But this one doesn't look too bad. I've gone across it here and it doesn't seem to be shorting out. It doesn't look, well, it looks okay. It looks like it's had a bit of kind of bashing around, but I'm going to take it off and see what it's like, and I might be able to get this one on here. If it doesn't work, then I have got another few that I can try as well. So that's what I'm going to do now. There's no point in buying them if I've got one here that I can use. So yeah, hopefully maybe the problem with this one might be some other part, not this particular chip here. So I'm just going to take this off. Right, I'm just going to zoom in now so I can have a look at this chip. Right, apologies, my camera went off and then I wondered why it went off, and it's because I wasn't recording and it went into standby. So unfortunately you didn't see me put that chip back on. Basically what I did is I just used the hot air ones and I just kept moving it around the place. I found it very hard, if I'm honest with you, to get it on. It kept, even now I'm not sure if it's fully in the right place, so I've cleaned it up now. I think it is, but it didn't seem to, surface tension didn't seem to take it into the middle of the pads. And if you have a look here, can you see it's starting to get very close to the edge there? But I think that last one's a ground anyway. I'm not sure when it comes to this side here, it's so hard to see. Let me try to get a better angle. Oh, okay, that's pretty good, isn't it? I can see now it's not, it's definitely, they're definitely on their own pads. Yep, and that one. Oh, is this one all going off to the right or not, or is it okay? I think they're all on their own. I think they're just about all on their own. Yeah, I can't really see on that one. Again, I think it's okay. I'm just going to go over with the tweezers just to make sure they're not wobbling. I didn't actually use a soldering iron, it was all just on hot air, but I can always run the soldering iron over it if I wanted to. Right, that one's loose. Okay, I'm going to run the soldering iron over it. So I'm just going to change the tip to a small one. Right, I've got my soldering iron set to 400 degrees C. Just going to put a bit of solder on here. Now I'm just going to try to rub it up and down. Oh, it's stuck. I'm going to have to go hotter. I'm going to go all the way up to 480. Right, I'm having a problem there with bridges. Let me try this one. Right, that one went okay. That was the first one that did. A bit of wick to get rid of that. Right, I really don't know how well that's gone. I'm going to clean it all up and then I'll be able to get a closer look at it. I don't think there's any bridges. Oh, there might be. Might be a bridge here. Yeah. Yeah, that's gone. But I might leave it like that. Now I know it's hanging off the edge there, but who cares as long as it's not touching the one next to it. There you go. Right, let me clean it up now. I think it's bridged here. It's kind of hard to tell because the light's bouncing off it. Right, well they're not moving, but I'm not completely convinced that it's going to work because I'm not sure if there's too much solder on this side. I can't really see whether any of them are touching each other or not. It might be okay. Might be alright if you look at it there, it looks okay. Right, so before I put the shield back on, we're going to put this back together and actually see if it's working or not. And I'm also going to add some thermal paste as well. So I might as well clean that up now. Oh, it's lovely how clean that comes up. Right, now I'm going to clean the other side that goes onto that. Right, this is the thermal paste I'm using. Now I don't mind if I put a bit too much on because it's just going to overflow into these bits here. So about a pea-shaped amount. Right, I'm making sure all the pads and stuff are on here, because they need to go around these chips. They're like thermal pads and they go around the chips around here. On the floor and see if we have any success. Right, okay, so here we go. Is it going to work? If I'm honest with you, I'm not too confident. But let's see. Now I forgot to put in the little Wi-Fi or the the little Bluetooth cable or whatever it is, the little aerial thing. So even if it does work, the controller might not work wirelessly. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it's still turning on. Oh, something's happening. Yes, it's come up. Checking the system storage. Do not turn off the PS4. When the check is complete, the PS4 will restart automatically. It looks nice and clear. It's not all like liney or anything. It all looks alright. Oh, what's it doing now? Here it is. 1080p. It says down there. That's good. Yes, we got the blue screen. Cannot connect to network, that's fine. Right, let's plug in this controller, see what happens. We've got sounds. Here we go, Jimmy Smith. Right. Excellent. Let's see if it keeps it. Let's see if it keeps it here. Yes, it does. Now it might lose the sync, but look at that. Fantastic. Right. Okay. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it apart again, put it back together properly, and then I can check the internet, check to see if the discs. Well, actually, I might as well check the disc now, mightn't I? Let's see if this is working. Yeah, it was a little bit hesitant taking it in, but I think that might be dust on the rollers. Let's see if it comes up. Yeah, there we go. Overwatch. Fantastic. Brilliant news. Right, okay, I'm going to take this all apart and then give it all the final clean up and stuff, and make sure all the screws go back into the right place and stuff. But there we go. Right, okay. I'm just going to put this back together now. Okay, so now I have to try and get this little shield back on, which is going to be a little bit awkward. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bit of solder to here, just with the soldering iron, and then hopefully when I put this on it I can maybe just tap it with the soldering iron and then it might stick. I think I'm going to do it without flux to try and keep it a little bit cleaner. Okay, so you can see that I've just built up some solder on here. Now I'm going to use the heat to try to melt this in its place. Right, I'm quite happy with that. It went on alright, it looks nice and flat. It's not as good as the manufacturer, but it's certainly fine. I don't think anybody would look at that and wonder what on earth's going on. So that is it, we're all done. One working PlayStation 4. That's looking a lot nicer than it did before. I like this one because it was a really honest one. It just needed a clean and just a faulty HDMI chip. So there was no kind of, to me it didn't look like it's been messed around with and then passed from one person to another. Really good one. Yes, it was a bit on the dirty side, but you're going to get that from just using it lots, especially if it was to sit on the carpet, then it's just going to be, you know, like circulating all that dust around the place. And then bit by bit, especially when you get a bit more dust attracts to that bit, and next thing you know, you have clumps of it around the place. So yeah, it was quite therapeutic to clean it all back up. It's still not perfect by any means. It's got plenty of scratches on. This thing here is very loose, but I think for the price I paid on this one, I'm going to call it a success. So hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe for more China Fix videos and also how-to videos as well. Take care. See you soon. Bye now.